you've been on a fast train and it's going off the rail, and you can't come back again. And you start breaking down in the pouring rain. Oh, you've been on a fast train, on a fast train, and your lover has gone away. Don't it make you feel sad? And you're going on a journey way into the land, and you start breaking down 'cause you're under strain, and you're jumping on, yes, you're jumping on a fast train, jumping on a fast train. Gotta go on the lam, stuck in no man's land. Ain't nobody on your way back, ain't nobody gonna lend you a helping hand. And you start breaking down, and you go to the sound, but you hear that fast train, ooh, fast train. And you keep on moving onto the sound of the wheels. Oh, deep down in your heart, do you really know how you feel? Then you start breaking down, going to the pain. Keep on moving on a fast train, moving on a fast train. Well, way over the land, next thing you're out of your mind, and you're out of your depth, and through the window she crept. Oh, there's nowhere to go in the sleet and snow. Just keep on moving, ooh, on a fast train, moving on a fast train. You got to go on the land, stuck in no man's land. Ain't nobody on your way, man, gonna lend you a helping hand. And you're all alone. Can you really make it on your own? Keep on moving on a fast train, or you're going nowhere back. How long can it last? Ooh, on a fast train. Keep on moving. Keep on moving on a fast train. Go through the desert and the burning sand, through all of the birds and the bush wasteland. Keep on moving. Cross the desert and sand, through the barren wasteland. Moving kind of fast on a fast train. Moving kind of fast, fast, fast. Keep on train. Going nowhere fast. How long can it last on a fast train? You're moving on a fast train. Moving on a fast train. Going nowhere fast. Somebody lend a helping hand. I can't understand. Going through this wasteland. I'm a crazy man. Lord, help me on a fast train. Fast, 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 fast train. Fast, 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 fast train. On a fast train. Going nowhere. Ooh.
Good evening and welcome to the kitchen table on Radio Fodder. We begin tonight by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this program is being broadcast, the Wurundjeri and Boonwurrung peoples of the Kulin Nation. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. We recognise First Nations peoples as the first storytellers, poets and artists to practice on this land, and intend for tonight's program to continue respectfully in this tradition. This always was, and always will be, Aboriginal land.
Hello, you're listening to The Kitchen Table on Radio Fodder, the dinner time show where you join us for good food, music and conversation. My name's Eva and I'm here with my co-host.
Hugo. Hello.
We're back with live recorded episodes again. We had our first one for a while last week, which was punk. It was very exciting.
Fantastic.
We're set up in Hugo's living room.
In incredibly close proximity to a real kitchen table.
It's very exciting. You were just listening to Fast Train by Solomon Burke. Came out in 2002. We were speculating that it sounds like it came out earlier. But anyway, the theme for this week is Defeatist, which is pretty niche, and I'm going to have to defend it through the whole episode. But to give the origins of it.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been ruminating this week.
I have, I've been ruminating. On Tuesday, I was waiting for a tram and I hadn't checked Tram Tracker and I was standing there and it had poured with rain in the morning. And when it rains and then it turns suddenly sunny, I swear the sun sticks to the moisture in the air and it hits you with this intensity. And I was just waiting for this tram about 17 minutes and each minute dragged on like an hour and this sun is sticking to my face. And I felt so defeatist and just wanted to give up on everything. But also I was just listening to some great music. There was Fast Car by Tracy Chapman and also Fast Train from Solomon Burke. They're both quite depressing songs, but also I think sometimes feeling a bit defeated and down and out can also, I don't know, be spun into a kind of groove. Like you can get into the groove of it.
Maybe the key is to find a little thread to pull out to romanticize, you know.
Yeah.
I've been trying very hard recently to romanticize my life. It's the best way of dealing with stressful situations.
Possibly that's the case. Either way, so that's the kind of what we're riffing off this evening and we're going to see where it goes. Yeah. But before we get into any more music around that, we should, as always, talk about food.
Let's talk about food. You're listening to The Kitchen Table, of course, where we talk about food. And
we love to eat.
Rosa and I were brainstorming what we're going to have for dinner tonight because we haven't been shopping in over a week and the fridge is a little bare, but there is a half-eaten avocado, like 2 half-eaten onions.
Why 2 half-eaten? Just had a little munch.
Yeah, that was like 1.5. You know, it's
yeah.
You know when you need half an onion, especially like if you're just gonna have some raw red onion in like a salad or something. Yeah. You always end up with half or like a quarter.
Yeah.
So we've got all of the nubs of unused onion. There's like a third of a capsicum, you know, there's half a lime. It's also had all of the zest taken off, so it's...
You're really selling this meal.
So no, what I'm saying is that the key here is to piece all the puzzle pieces together.
Uh-huh.
And we're thinking this evening we're going to have a Mexican-style beans and rice. We've got black beans in the cupboard. We're going to fry up all of those aforementioned ingredients, bar the lime.
The non-juicy lime. Desiccated.
You know, get some spices, some cumin, and I think I've probably spoken on the show before about adobo chilies.
I don't know if you have.
Maybe not, but they're just like an absolute staple.
Uh-huh. Are these the ones you've got growing?
No, this is like you can get in a jar, like
Okay.
chipotle chili peppers in adobo sauce.
Oh, yum.
And it's just like this little flavor explosion.
Okay.
And it's perfect for this kind of cuisine. So
Mm-hmm.
we're just going to fry all that up and then bulk it out with some rice, mix it all together, beans and rice. We don't have corn chips, so we're going to have broken up hard taco shells. We got some cheese. I don't think we have any coriander, but we totally should. And then there you go. That's dinner for this evening.
Yum. Use what you got.
And I'm really rather excited.
Keen.
If it looks good, you'll find a picture of it on our Instagram.
And maybe even if it doesn't look good.
Maybe if it doesn't, yeah. So check that out at thekitchentable.radio.
Delicious.
But Eva, thank you for discussing the things that you have been ruminating.
You're welcome.
I think that defeatism will be an interesting thread to tug through this episode's discussion. And you have some rather interesting looking music picks for us as well.
Yeah. They're all just kind of niche little songs that when I was in this sort of, not to say I was feeling flat, but I was just in a kind of, this is the world, flat, sort of steady, I don't know. I was just feeling a little defeated, but not in a sad way.
Well, it's good to hear it wasn't in a sad way.
These songs, they just had that consistent, steady beat of Fast Train. It's just like this thing that's chugging on, even when life's not that exciting. So, anyway, let's hear the first one. We've got You Ain't Going Nowhere from The Byrds. It's originally one of the tracks off Bob Dylan's Basement Tapes, which he did with the band. But it's a cover from 1968, and I've never been sure whether it's a positive or a really depressing song, but it's funny. I like it.
Well, maybe that's one for the listeners to decide for us.
You decide. Let's hear it.
Clouds so swift, rain won't lift, gate won't close, railings froze. Get your mind off winter time. You ain't going nowhere. Ooh-wee, ride me high. Tomorrow's the day the bride's gonna come. Oh, oh, are we gonna fly down in the easy chair? I don't care how many letters they sent. The morning came, morning went. Pack up your money, pick up your tent. You ain't going nowhere. Ooh-wee, ride me high. Tomorrow's the day my bride's gonna come. Oh, oh, are we gonna fly down in the easy chair? Buy me a flute and a gun that shoots, tailgates and substitutes. Strap yourself to a tree with roots. You ain't going nowhere. Ooh-wee, ride me high. Tomorrow's the day my bride's gonna come. Oh, oh, are we gonna fly down in the easy chair? Now Genghis Khan, he could not keep all his kings supplied with sleep. We'll climb that hill, no matter how steep, when we get up to it.
You're listening to The Kitchen Table on Radio Fodder. That was You Ain't Going Nowhere, The Birds. Or, as we were speculating, it actually sounded a few times like Bob Dylan, who originally wrote the song.
Yeah, definitely the same
Little...
that thing that Bob
The
Dylan
intonation,
does where he
yeah.
kinda goes up at the some words where he goes up at the end like that.
Yeah, I love it. I like that song. Made me think of one of the, during my little despondent day this week, when I was bopping along to these
Has it
tunes.
been a rough week?
No, I'm trying to spin this. It wasn't a bad week.
No, I don't want to. Please continue.
But the gate won't shut, that line really resonated with me because our gate wasn't shutting, it kept blowing in the wind. But at the same time, so I've just moved into a new place, a little Victorian terrace, and I've only lived there for a month, but already the sound of the gate opening and closing when someone gets home has become this really familiar swinging thing. So even though it's really irritating because it creaks all the time, it's also very comforting.
It's the soundtrack of domesticity.
Yeah, basically. All right. Our next sort of defeatist track, we've got Everybody's Got to Learn Sometimes from Beck, 1980.
Change your heart. Look around you. Change your heart. It will astound you. And I need your loving like the sunshine. And everybody's gotta learn sometime. Everybody's gotta learn sometime. Everybody's gotta learn sometime. Change your heart. Look around you. Change your heart. It will astound you. I need your loving like the sunshine. And everybody's gotta learn sometime. Everybody's gotta learn sometime. Everybody's gotta learn sometime. Everybody's gotta learn sometime. Everybody's gotta learn sometime.
That was the last time I saw... oh, God, no, it wasn't. That's what we've got coming up next, Joni Mitchell. No, that was Everybody's Got to Learn Sometimes from Beck. From the movie, I think it was actually written for the soundtrack of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Have you ever seen that film?
Oh, it's on my watch list.
It's really good. And that song kind of gives you an idea of the pacing.
You know, that's actually so appropriate that you say it's for a soundtrack.
Yeah.
Because we were just saying in the break just there how this music selection seems to be like your kind of the soundtrack for your week, as in a kind of an emotional sense.
Yeah, very much. It was just kind of this... I was saying, not sad, but just a kind of... When you're exhausted and it's just the plodding sound of all these songs, just kind of... It was a bit of a chugging week.
Okay, keep and roll. You know,
steam train.
It's you can get into the meteor end of the semester.
Not even. We're actually only, it's week 5?
I know, but
That's
from
not
here
even.
on out, it's just, you know, there's
Just
stuff to be done.
2,000 word essay after 2,000 word essay.
Everyone's had a big week.
Everyone needs...
It's that keep rolling.
Yeah. That's the theme. Don't be defeatist, maybe. Actually, maybe this is an anti-defeatist episode.
Maybe.
Either way, a song that always cheers me up when I'm feeling a little down is Joni Mitchell's The Last Time I Saw Richard, because of the line, she's talking about her friends in a funk, and she's saying it's only a phase, these dark cafe days. And I say that to myself when I'm a bit tired. I'm like, oh my God, it's just a dark cafe week, you know? You'll be out in the sunshine soon. So let's hear that little ditty.
Last time I saw Richard was Detroit in '68, and he told me all romantics meet the same fate someday. Cynical and drunk and boring someone in some dark cafe. You laugh, he said, you think you're immune. Go look at your eyes, they're You like roses and kisses and pretty men to tell you all those pretty lies, pretty lies. When you gonna realize they're only pretty lies, only pretty lies, just pretty lies. He put a quarter in the Wurlitzer, and he pushed 3 buttons, and the thing began to whir. And a barmaid came by in fishnet stockings and a bow tie, and she said, "Drink up now, it's getting on time to close." "Richard, you haven't really changed," I said. "It's just that now you're romanticizing some pain that's in your head. You got tombs in your eyes, but the songs you punched are dreaming. Listen, they sing a love so sweet, love so sweet. When you gonna get yourself back on your feet? Oh, love can be so sweet, love so sweet." Richard got married to a figure skater, and he bought her a dishwasher and a coffee percolator, and he drinks at home now most nights with the TV on and all the house lights left upright. "I'm gonna blow this damn candle out. I don't want nobody coming over to my table. I've got nothing to talk to anybody about. All good dreamers pass this way someday, hiding behind bottles in dark cafes, dark cafes. Only a dark cocoon before I get my gorgeous wings and fly away. Only a face, these dark cafe days."
That was The Last Time I Saw Richard from Joni Mitchell, of her album Blue. That's the last of my contributions to our musical meditation on defeatism, or chugging along perhaps is the more apt description that we've
Some
come to
great
towards.
little lines.
Oh
in
my God, I
song.
love that
Really,
song.
the lyricism
Richard got
is
married to a
fantastic.
figure skater, and he bought her a dishwasher and a coffee percolator.
Percolator.
I love it. In the spirit of good lyricism, I'm going to move on to some poetry. Margaret Atwood, one of my favourites. She has a poem called A Sad Child from her collection Morning in the Burned House. And it really resonated again with this, I don't know, feeling of, yeah, get over it, move on. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Let's hear it. A sad child. You're sad because you're sad. It's psychic. It's the age. It's chemical. Go see a shrink or take a pill or hug your sadness like an eyeless doll. You need to sleep. Well, all children are sad, but some get over it. Count your blessings. Better than that, buy a hat, buy a coat or pet. Take up dancing to forget. Forget what? Your sadness, your shadow. Whatever it was that was done to you the day of the lawn party, when you came inside flushed with the sun, your mouth sulky with sugar, and your new dress with the ribbon and the ice cream smear, and said to yourself in the bathroom, I'm not the favourite child. My darling, when it comes right down to it, and the light fails and the fog rolls in, and you're trapped in your overturned body under a blanket or burning car, and the red flame is seeping out of you and igniting the tarmac beside your head, or else the floor, or else the pillow. None of us is, or else we all are.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
The escalation.
I know. It's such a
The
great
burning
poem.
tarmac.
the red flame seeping out of you and igniting the tarmac beside your head, or else the floor, or else the pillow. It's really encompassing all of life in that poem, and quite in that classic Margaret Atwood, cynical, quite terrifying, astute way.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you for that wonderful poetry reading. Ian.
Yeah, because sometimes we're all a sad child and none of us are really the favourite. Even if we're like you and the only child.
Well, I think there's something, the quality of that poem that speaks very closely perhaps to the title of this next song, which is the first of my picks for this evening. I'd like to get straight into it to kick off my bracket. I'm talking about Nowhere to Run by Martha Reeves and the Vandellas.
Nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide. Got nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide. It's not love I'm running from. It's the heartache I know will come. 'Cause I know you're no good for me. But you become a part of me. Everywhere I go, your face I see. Every step I take, you take with me. Nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide. Got nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide. I know you're no good for me. But free of you, I'll never be. No. Each night as I sleep, into my heart you creep. I wake up feeling sorry I met you, hoping soon that I'll forget you. When I look in the mirror to comb my hair, I see your face just a smiling there. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide from you, babe. Got nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide. I know you're no good for me, but you become a part of me. How can I fight a love that shouldn't be? When it's so deep, deep inside of me. My love reaches so high, I can't get over it. It's so wide, I can't get around it. No, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide from you, babe. Just can't get away from you, baby. No matter how I try. I know you're no good for me, but free of you, I'll never be. Nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide. Got nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide. Nowhere to
You're listening to The Kitchen Table on Radio Fodder, and that was Nowhere to Run by Martha Reeves and the Vandellas.
Such a good song. I was singing almost everywhere while it was off.
I think it's a real sauntering song, as I was just saying before. It's the sort of song when I need to get somewhere and I just want to, when I want to saunter there. There's something about it. Stick that on.
Yeah, you got to have a bit of swinging hip with.
Yeah.
in your
I did
steps.
observe that there was some slight consistency, and this might be a very thin comparison to draw, but there's a line in Nowhere to Run when I look in the mirror, and there is what you might argue is also a mirror gazing scene in Atwood's poem from before in the bathroom about the speaker speaking to themselves in the bathroom. So wow.
Both speakers possibly feeling defeated.
Truly.
This song is like defeat. You can't resist love anymore.
Absolutely. Well, continuing on, Eva, I've kind of been thinking of ways how I can expand from your rumination, and I have not necessarily felt feelings of defeatism this week, but I think I
That's
understand
probably good.
some of the things that are relevant, even I've not personally been experiencing them. I'm covering in my bracket some discussion of nihilism, some skepticism.
Very philosophical.
Oh wow, it's just all of the isms. And so what's kind of relevant? I don't have much more to say about this upcoming song, but the title speaks for itself. It's ballpark music, and it's called Nihilist Party Anthem.
The nightmare hasn't even started. You need to sleep light, 'cause crossing has become another thing I find. Your wonder secretly permeates the future, and this vortex.
Baby, don't fight it. Come on, get excited. Don't you want to feel this way forever? Ballpark music with Nihilist Party Anthem playing on the kitchen table on Radio Photo.
There's something defeatist in there,
There
certainly.
is certainly some relevance, even if it was kind of just as a thin synonymous title.
Even I think there's also just music themes, like that plodding kind of.
I wonder if you did a kind of musicological assessment of these songs we've picked, if they all had a similar kind of plodding
Yeah,
rhythm.
I wish I had more music theoretical knowledge, because I have friends who'd be like, oh yeah, it's all within a certain tonal range, doing blah blah blah, and I feel like they are all quite low somethings, but I don't know what, because I don't speak music.
It's okay, you don't have to expose yourself.
Okay.
Attempting. But anyway, I love that song. That's the final song on the A side of their album, Every Night the Same Dream, released in 2016. So continuing on this idea of things that are maybe vaguely synonymous, we move on to skepticism, maybe. And once again, this is a relatively superficial assessment, maybe, of this upcoming song. Well, we'll have to see, I'm not sure. It's from the Arctic Monkeys' most recent album, The Car. Went and saw them playing very, very early this January at Sydney Mire Music Bowl. That was a very fun gig. Rosa and I accidentally found ourselves like up the very front, right under Alex Turner's nose. He's so much shorter in real life.
Is he?
Yeah, I feel like
He looks tall and
I think that's
stretchy.
everyone's experience with every famous person ever. They're always shorter in real life. Yeah.
Not godlike.
But that's not to pass judgment on his songwriting capability.
Or his height. Not that judgment was passed.
No, of course not. I'm just going to stop talking. This is a great, fun song with a bit of groove to it, and I'd love to do some. We can save the lyrical assessment to after the fact.
Freaky keeper by the retina scan. I've been given good reason to believe I ain't quite where I think I am, but it's always worth half a blast. You know the face, but you can't see past the disco strobes and the stumbling blocks. Wait, there's the other island now. Formation displays of affection fly over. Eyes roll back and I can see both islands now. It's the intermission. Let's shake a few hands. Blank expressions invite me to suspect I ain't quite where I think I am. Stackable party guests to fill the awkward silences. The disco strobes and the stumbling blocks. Wait, there's the other island now. Formation displays of affection fly over. Eyes roll back and I can see both islands now. From my vantage point, the spare set of tingles already. Obvious fine if I get it my way. Looks like the Riviera is coming into land. Early predictions would seem to suggest I ain't quite where I think I am. Formation displays of affection
That's the Arctic Monkeys there with I Ain't Quite Where I Think I Am. You're listening to The Kitchen Table on Radio Fodder. I think that song is an example of skepticism, especially in the first few lines there. I'm really
Explain.
enamored by the songwriting in this song. It took me a little while to get into the lyrics because
I feel like it often does with the Arctic Monkeys.
The funky twang is very overpowering. So that captures your attention for probably like the first 5 listens. But he's describing this very interesting scene. He goes, freaky keypad by the retina scan. He's talking about this place. He finds himself at some sort of like kind of James Bond-esque like party or like house party or like it might be a yacht party or something.
How do you get that by freaky keyboard by the retina scan?
It's like, you know, in that kind of trope of like those eye scanning security systems that he's like in some kind of strange otherworldly like aristocratic kind of scene, and he doesn't really know why he's there and he doesn't fit in. But there's this kind of degree of skepticism that runs throughout, and it continues. But now I just love that opening line. It just kind of captures the imagery captures my imagination every time I hear it.
Fantastic picture.
Obscure on the first listen through, but fun nonetheless. Well, we're talking about
defeatism and adjacent concepts. I like those additions. I felt like they built on vaguely what I was kind of ruminating on. But to shift to something slightly left of our attention, you were talking about some art that you'd seen today.
Yeah, so to shift from the theme of today's episode to the theme of my experience today. I'm trying to say is that I went to NGV Australia this morning and I saw some fantastic art, which I think is really worthy of discussion. There's a new exhibition on at NGV Australia in Fed Square at the moment called Melbourne Now. I think it is a repetition of a similar exhibition which happened 10 years ago. It's on from yesterday, the 24th of March, until 20th of August, and it has a really interesting mixture of art and design, contemporary work paired with work from the permanent collection of the NGV that draws out some really cool threads from all of the work that you could be quite familiar with if you go and visit the permanent collection often. But I just saw this really striking piece by an artist called Kenny Pittock today. It's called 52 Shopping Lists Found While Working at a Supermarket. It's a ceramic piece made in 2022 to 2023, so very contemporary. I didn't even realize it was ceramic until I took a photo of the wall panel and then came back and read it this afternoon. I was like, oh my goodness, all those things that I was looking at were actually ceramic reproductions.
Oh, you didn't realize in the moment.
I didn't realize. So
yeah.
They are all of these little shopping lists that the artist has collected, obviously over the time working in a supermarket, and they have really precisely replicated them in ceramic. So they just look like little slips of paper and kind of, and they all have funny kind of personality. There's bits of, you know, old envelopes, sticky notes, kind of, and then kind of strangely ornate kind of fridge magnet style shopping lists, and there's like a torn up paper plate.
I love that. I love that it's been really solidified into a ceramic form. These really shopping lists are so made to be that they exist for such a short amount of time and then they're thrown away.
The ephemerality of them.
Yeah.
And the fact
Like
that,
flowers.
Yes,
The
absolutely.
flower of capitalism.
Kind of all these little petals that wilted away from a greater flower.
Oh, wow.
So I'm afraid of the airwaves. I can't share the visual aspect of this.
But perhaps
artwork.
a photo on our Instagram.
Perhaps. But I can nonetheless share the wall text, which was quite illuminating in its own right. Kenny Pittock works with ceramics, painting and drawing to elevate and celebrate everyday life. This series is born out of Pittock's many years spent working as a part-time cleaner and trolley pusher in a supermarket. During his time, he collected more than 5,000 shopping lists left behind by shoppers in the trolleys. Recreating them here in kiln-fired earthenware clay, these otherwise fleeting, temporary objects are given another life. Pittock explains, "The anonymous shopping lists read like poetry. They show us that we're all different, but they also show how similar we are too. Each list is a little portrait, giving a tiny glimpse of insight into the people we pass as we walk down the aisles."
Hugo, I think that's a beautiful passage which actually really ties together some of the themes of this episode.
Yeah.
With the simplicity of a shopping list
Everyday life.
and the drudgery of it, to be honest, that can actually be a beautiful form of unity. And I don't know, all humans do these mundane things like shopping and writing little lists of what groceries they can afford and what they need, you
Writing
know?
their little lists. Yeah, I think that's a really fantastic quote, especially by the end, at the end there by the artist.
Yeah.
I mean, reading it in hindsight, it should have been clear to me that there were ceramic reproductions. But you'll have to believe me that they were so incredibly realistic that I just simply didn't even cross my mind. And I was even just so enamored by the thought of them having been collected that I didn't stop to consider the next artistic step, which just makes it even more interesting. But the objects themselves are so sweet, and there is, it's also quite an interesting linguistic kind of observation, you might say. And I guess that's why Pittock compares it to poetry. There's a lot of multilingual shopping lists, and there's lots of shopping lists that are written in kind of combinations, like half combinations of two different languages. There might be a kind of Greek shopping list, but then maybe eggs or something is written in English, and just kind of or things that have been written obviously by children and with the accompaniment of their parents, so it'll be like in this child's scrawly handwriting, kind of still learning how to spell all of the items. But yeah, this is fantastic. I stood in this great kind of glass case table that extends about 2 meters wide, and I just kind of surveyed them all just for so long. It's a beautiful artwork. So I do recommend listeners that you check it out if you happen to find yourself at the NGV Australia in Fed Square. Now, with that being said, I think we've probably got time for one more song this evening, Eva.
Yeah, I think we do. We've got lined up Free from Cat Power, from the album of the same title, I believe. We'll quickly hear it. But yeah, I think it nicely ties together the sort of sense of unity and I don't know, just a common experience of life that that exhibition sounds like it was thinking about. So yeah, let's hear it.
Beautiful.
Everybody come together. Free. Everybody get together.
You're listening to The Kitchen Table. We're really nearing the end of our episode. We've got a minute or two to go. We've been ruminating on defeatism and other things.
And I think we have successfully drawn some really wonderful discussion out of your rumination topic.
Most definitely.
Well, that was a nice way of rounding things off with Free by Cat Power. Mm-hmm. And I do hope that listeners back home, you have enjoyed our discussion as much as we have. Do check out our Instagram at The Kitchen Table if you'd like to see what we've been up to, maybe some pictures of this evening's meal. But with that being said, Eva, thanks for talking this evening.
That's all right.
Fun as
Thanks
always.
for sharing the show with me, and hopefully all of our listeners tune in next week.
All right. Thank you and good night.
Bye.
When the clock says it's time to close.